Hello, this is a video on how to replace a laptop screen on a Dell XPS L502X. This laptop suffered a cracked screen during travel, and there's a crack running all the way through there. So first thing to do is power it down and remove the power and the battery. Once you've removed the battery and the AC, you want to find the smallest flat tool that you have. You want to try to put it into the edge here and gently pry off the bezel. It looks like the clips are about every 1.5 to 2 inches apart, and you just need to pry every so often to make it come off, and continue all the way around like that. Once you've got enough of these clips off, it gets a little easier to get these off. You just kind of like lift a little bit, because they hook on basically onto these little holes here, so lift a little bit and it starts to pop off more easily as you get through it. When you get down to the bottom, just kind of gently nudge it. It should start to come off. I'm running my finger through the bottom here. These clips on the bottom are not as easy to get off as I thought they would be. There we go. Go ahead and put the bezel aside. Next you want to remove these corner screws here. They're Phillips. These 8 screws have little numbers next to them. They don't really matter what order you do them in, but just let you know that these are all the same type of screws here. So I'm continuing around, removing all 8 screws, and I'm now removing the last of the 8 screws. And now the screen is loose. You should now be able to lift up the screen. So there's a little bit of tape here holding this cable, taping it to the back here, but that can be easily removed. You can use your finger to, there's a little tab here, you can keep pulling it back, and looks like it's just taped there as well. Now I can put the screen down. Next, on the sides of the screen, there's 4 little black screws, one in each corner, that you need to remove. Again, it's just a Phillips screwdriver, just like the previous screws we took out. They're smaller, so don't mix them up with the first screws. I'm now removing the left side screws to remove the left side bracket. Next, you want to take this connecting cable here off, and there's tape all along underneath this. So just gently lift on it and get the cable removed. At least all the tape off first. And there's also tape across from here. And then you just pull this back from here. It comes pretty easily out. Got the new screen here. I'll do a quick comparison between the two. It's got a protective cover on it. Some sort of protective covering here as well. It's a slight change in design between the original screen and the new screen. I'm hoping that doesn't make much of a difference. We'll find out. But yeah. Anyway, continuing on. So I'm now going to reattach these cables. Goes back in pretty easily. And I need to put the side brackets back on again. So I'll go to put these 4 corner screws back into place now. Putting the last of the corner screws into place. Bracket looks like it's now in place on both sides. And lift the screen back up into place. Line up the holes with what was there before, and this cable that's running up the back is probably for the camera, I would assume. So we need to put that back in. I'll go ahead and reattach this now. There we go. Just had to get it lined up properly, but if you can see, it's a little tiny. A little blurry there, but tiny little cable that comes into the top here, just next to the camera. I just need to make sure the screen is aligned back in place. There's little notches here in the corners to help you line up the screen again. And go ahead and start putting those 8 screws back in again. So far I've only attached 4 of the screws, and I didn't put them completely tightened down yet because there's still this protective covering that needs to come off, and the tape goes around the back side of the monitor, the screen. So see if I can remove it. There we go. Also at this point, you probably want to make sure that, before you put the bezel on and the rest of the screws and everything, you want to make sure your connections are all good, so you want to test it out at this point, I would say. So make sure your screen's at least mostly attached so it doesn't fall off. And put the battery back in, and let's try to see what happens here. And it does come on. There's starting to boot up. I think I'm going to stop it before it gets all the way into the operating system though. Once you know that you're successful, go ahead and tighten down all 8 of the screws around the edges of the screen to mount it onto the back of the laptop. And put the bezel back on. And hopefully it should snap right back in place like it was. Just gently push everything back in place. You should hear clicks all around as all the tabs reconnect. And it looks like we're done. I'll go ahead and power it up, and hopefully we're in good shape. And there we have it. All done. Thanks for watching.